So here's a fun fact. I've had the wonderful GSP 670 in my possession since Computex, so over a month now, and Sennheiser makes great audio hardware, but software, not so much. I haven't actually been able to use this pair because of BSODs and nasty audio distortions. The driver software was even crashing my video editing programs like DaVinci Resolve when you plug in the USB port, and the CPU usage for the drivers was over 15%. But all that has been resolved with a new final stable release of the software. Yes! So this, my friends, is my full experience with Sennheiser's first wireless gaming headset, the GSP 670. So I think wireless audio has always been important for gaming, as it's always been about that whole cable-free convenience. And as with any wireless gaming headset, it's not perfect, but the GSP 670 is the best sounding wireless gaming headset in my collection.
Well, hello there.
Where'd you come from?
It don't matter. It's about where I'm going.
Well, I don't really need a new mouse right now.
Sure, we'll see. Everybody loves a 4-way hidden D-pad and a cool OLED display. Plus, I'm quite sensitive at 24,000 DPI, plus RGB. You gotta try.
What was I thinking saying no to you? The MM830 by Cooler Master, the mouse you didn't see coming. Check it out below. Alright, so in usual Sennheiser fashion, accessories are null. All you get is a wireless dongle and a micro USB charging cable. These are PC and PS4 compatible with a 2-year warranty, and in case you needed bank account clearing, these are right for the job at $350. Ouch. But can we just talk about the new wonderful black color design with a few titanium hints all around the ear cups? Gone is the red and black color scheme from the previous GSP lineup. Now is this kind of discreet, all matte black, beautiful pair. It's kind of weird to praise something that is so almost boring, but gaming headsets normally are like rah, and this one's like nicely muted. I didn't even realize the side plates are removable for potential customization if you 3D print them or color them yourself, as their current selection is not very ambitious. Now the frame is still massive and bulky, and as far as I can tell, no changes have been made to slim it down, and it's only gone up in weight by 3 grams versus the GSP 600. However, this is still a pretty heavy pair, and if lightweight is all you need, then the Cloud Flight takes the win. The clamping force is adjustable via the headband like on previous models that adds or releases the pressure of the bottom of the ear cup, and if you have a more triangular face structure, this will work well by allowing the actual ear cups to angle. But even with the slightest pressure on my face, I'm getting a lot more concentration of pressure at the bottom of the ear cup instead of the top, which is not really optimal. And the only way to flatten the ear cups is actually to reduce or collapse the size extensions, but then the headset becomes way too small. It doesn't really fit me. And so comfort wise, unfortunately, I would take the Game Series or the HD Series, any headset, over the GSP line any day. The ear cups are leatherette with suede contact surface and a really nice memory foam like padding that delivers scary good sound isolation. So with any music listening right now, I would not be able to hear my own finger snaps. So if you're into the whole like completely zoning out effect, these will not disappoint. Just be mindful of your environment. Now my ears do not touch the internal wall, same thing with Eber, which is good, but when Mike tried them on at Computex, his ear made contact with the driver wall despite playing around with the size extensions and the pressure adjustment. The volume wheel on here is like a fidget spinner. It's so smooth and satisfying, and it also acts as your power off switch when it's in the lowest volume position with a tactile click. Nice. Sennheiser does not actually recommend you use this because the headset goes to sleep when it's inactive, so you don't really need to turn it off every time you don't use it. Beside it is a smart button to either enable surround sound mode or switch between different EQ presets, and it can be assigned in the software with a nice visual pop-up to indicate what's active, but only on a desktop and not while you're in game, and this notification can also be turned off. And the other wheel is your chat mix to balance in-game chat volume. On the other side is a micro USB port for charging and a slide switch with multifunctionalities like checking battery status with a single slide.
More than 40% battery left.
Or if you hold it for 2 seconds, it activates pairing mode between 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth mode. And Bluetooth functionality built in here is excellent value add, especially for the price point. However, this is not exactly outdoors friendly, so for office use only. And Bluetooth in that setting is a bit less functional. Now, it is very important to mention that pairing can only be activated when the main dongle is not sending any audio. And once I pair it with my iPhone, I can listen to Bluetooth as long as the main PC and the dongle is not sending any audio. But as soon as I start to play anything on the computer, Bluetooth gets disconnected or the headset switches to the dongle because that always gets priority. So unfortunately, there's no physical way to switch between sources between 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth, as that is based on the inactivity of the main dongle. And as far as audio goes, this thing is incredibly satisfying for its category. So we have really powerful output at full blast with wonderful detail and just enough sparkle to hear that every bullet slicing through air in squad. And with also very clear bass hits of that distant mortar fire too. The soundstage is closed but not too narrow, with good indication of the size of your environment with appropriate positional cues. The Cloud Flight in comparison just sounds muddy and it's like, what were they thinking? Although this thing is more comfortable, while the Arctis Pro Wireless from SteelSeries, which is the same price as these at $349, has less of an impact on the lower end. And compared to my GSP 500 with leather ear cups, the sound signatures are actually quite similar, with wider soundstage and a cleaner signal on the wired pair. And as for the driver software, it's not complete yet, but has a lot of features, like customizing your own EQ curve and enabling surround sound with reverberation level adjustment, so how spacious or how much more like echoey audio gets, and you even get a sound test for audio feedback that cycles between what you've created versus the default preset, so you can hear before and after, which is quite nice. I prefer surround sound on this pair to be disabled. It does create a wider sound stage, slightly things more distant, but with the too much of a sacrifice in detail, but it has really nice stereo imaging, so like the audio is coming in front of you and not necessarily like right here when the surround sound is disabled. Inside the microphone tab, we have a few voice enhancers. Right now what you listen to is set to off, so by default vocal clarity is good for a wireless pair, but the bass and the detail is not exactly on par with what you get with the same microphone but on a wired pair like the GSP 500 or 600. And this is what the GSP 500 sounds like. The same microphone on a different body and a wired connection. So here you don't have the same properties in terms of driver software outside of whatever is on your motherboard, but I feel like the depth and the clarity on the vocals is a lot more natural, not as compressed as what you get with the wireless pair, but this way, I guess it's wired, so it will always be better. What you listen to now is the Worm preset that I unfortunately do not hear any difference between that and off, which is strange because it's supposed to give me more like a broadcast quality vocals, and I don't feel like the software is doing anything. And the same thing can be said with the Clear preset, which is what you're hearing now. Let me know if you hear any difference, because I do not. Furthermore, in that midsection, you can adjust gain, side tone, and noise gate. So maxing out the side tone lets you actually hear what you're speaking. And right now, for example, everything being so quiet, it's actually really nice to hear myself and not be really muted. While noise gate lets you actually pick at what level the microphone starts to pick up the noise. So if you're in a really loud environment or if you're speaking loudly, increasing the noise gate will help to eliminate those lower volume noises. As for noise cancellation, I feel like they've done a really good job here. So right now I'm typing on the keyboard and this is with it off. The mid preset has a pleasant character without too much processing on my vocals while trying to further isolate whatever is happening outside of that vocal range. While maxing out the slider changes the vocal properties of your voice, that's understandable. There's a lot more processing going on as it tries to cancel out anything that's not like right over here. And now we're back to no noise cancellation with default settings, so you can hear what it sounds like before the next microphone. And here's what another wireless headset sounds like. This is the HyperX Cloud Flight, a fantastic all-around pair, but the microphone quality on here compared to the GSP 670, first of all, it's not as sensitive, so it doesn't pick up my voice as loud, and depth, clarity, and bass is all better on the GSP 670. And lastly, the settings tab is mainly used for updates and a handy shortcut for the sound control panel. Brilliant. They still need some work to do though, as the visual battery percentage indicator does not sync with the battery percentage voice prompt on the headset itself, and the software must be running on your PC to enable surround sound or profile switches with the smart button, otherwise it does nothing. And on the PS4, since there are no drivers, this is a stereo headset only. And lastly, battery life. So it's not the best, but it's not terrible. Sennheiser claims up to 20 hours, and in my continuous usage at max volume, I got about 16 hours. So I guess it'll be fine. But the good thing is the standby time on this thing is amazing, up to 30 days, and the headset shuts off by itself when there's no audio coming through. So nice battery savings built in by default. And so for conclusion, I would say the GSP 670 is the best sounding wireless headset currently out in the market right now, but it's not for everybody. As you can see, the fit is a bit ridiculous and might not fit larger heads that have maybe a little bit more square. Software needs work despite having a lot of cool features, and also not having a physical toggle between 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth. It's like, why? There's a lot of space on here and would eliminate any guesswork, especially because we do have a Bluetooth signal on the right beside the volume wheel, but you think that it would illuminate with when the Bluetooth is connected, but nope. And of course, you gotta pay the premium for the wireless freedom, that by the way is actually one of the worst I've tested in a wireless headset. So beyond 4 meters with a direct line of sight to the dongle, the headset cuts out with nasty distortion or just completely loses audio, and through just one single wall, whereas other headsets that I've tested, even like $50 headset, have much better range. So I'm not exactly sure why this is happening with a $350 pair. But I don't really want to end it on a negative note, because all wireless gear have some form of compromises, but the audio quality on this thing is the new wireless standard with a GSP 670. Alright guys, I'm Dimitri, hope you enjoyed. Let me know what headset you're rocking, wireless or wired. Check out this other relevant content, subscribe for more. I'll talk to you in the next video.